No, I was gonna say hi to your mother.
Josh was texting. He's like, I see you guys.
Oh, is that was it really?
Yeah, because he's at work.
Yeah, really. Don't let them before.
I'll let my mom know.
Okay. Mine.
Oh, it's all in delay.
Yeah. Well, NFHS is 4 minutes. This is like 30 seconds. Usually it's like 30 seconds.
go through the line there. So hopefully I didn't cut anybody off. Real quick, I'd like to give a shout out to RJ who organized all this. Give him a Okay, so for those of you that we've never met, my name is Nick Ryder. I'm the I am the head wrestling coach. But I am the freshman football coach. Before we get going here, I am going to have Coach Thielen come up and kind of address you guys as a whole, and then we'll kind of get on with the freshman football aspect of it. So thank you guys for coming. Thank you, RJ, again, and Coach Thielen, come on up.
Thanks, Coach Ryder. I want to thank certainly the coaching staff. Really indebted to them tonight. And tonight's a great opportunity for us to recognize all the efforts of these young men, of their families and loved ones. And it's really kind of a special occasion as we near the end of our football season. When we first started working with these young men way back in like June, they really seemed like middle school students. They kind of acted that way, you know, they're in big groups everywhere they go, and they're always looking at their phones to see how they look and adjusting their hair. And they're just tremendously socially conscious, I guess. And now here we are, like less than 20 school days from these young men completing their first semester of high school. So it really has been a lot of jumps, a lot of growth by a lot of young men. And they certainly need to be indebted to these parents and loved ones who have supported them so much. And that's what a banquet really allows us to do, is to recognize all the efforts of these young men, but also all the efforts of their loved ones and their family members who come by and pick them up, you know, at 5:30 or whatever, every night after practice, and listen to them complain about their coaches or, you know, just whatever went on that particular day on the way home. And then get them up Saturday morning and get them off to these events and games that they're at early on Saturday, and it just doesn't really seem to stop. So I want all of our young men that we're recognizing here tonight to take like 30 seconds tonight and thank your parents, thank your loved ones, your grandparents, everybody from your extended family who have supported you so much over the last number of months and have helped make their freshman football experience so positive. In fact, young men, let's applaud these parents. It's a great accomplishment to finish that first sports season in high school. And for all of our parents, that this is your oldest child in high school. I've been doing this stuff since 1986. And what I can tell you is, in a flick of an eye, we're going to be talking about these young people walking across the stage with the high school diploma. And we're going to think and wonder, man, where did all these years go? And my little son is not so little anymore. And he's going on to great things after Legend High School. It will literally, these next 3 years will pass by so quickly. I just want to encourage you to enjoy all of it. The ups and the downs. The exhilarating experiences and the adversity that we all have to overcome during our high school years as you support these young men. But being involved in extracurricular activities is the ticket to success. And we're going to strongly encourage these young men to get out and be active for the rest of this school year. Winter sports are going to be starting in about a week or so. We strongly encourage them to get involved in that. And after we come back from the holidays, we'll start training some of us for spring sports that will be in front of us in a blink of an eye. And the theater department and music and all the various activities that we can get involved in. We just really want to encourage these young men to pursue those interests. Because that's where they're really going to learn some lifelong lessons. And they're going to work in small groups of people, which they're going to be doing for the rest of their lives. And getting along with people that are not exactly like ourselves. Those are all just the most fantastic of lessons that we want these young men to experience, because it's going to catapult them into a successful life as young adults. And before we know it, they're going to be the leaders in our communities. They're going to be the decision makers in their own families. And it's going to be these experiences that they have that's going to help them to make those real life decisions and experiences that are not that far in front of them. So it's really important to stay involved in whatever it is that interests these young men. If they have an interest in athletics, high school athletics is quite a bit different right now than it was when some of our parents were involved. You don't just stop pursuing your sports when the season is over. You catapult yourself into training and working for that next season, whatever that next season is, if it's a winter sports season, if it's a spring sports season, if it's whatever it is. You got to continue to pursue it with the commitment that they have shown throughout this fall. A major component of that is working out with weights and running and continuing to develop athletically. The worst thing that these young men can do is to get into the habit of going home now after school at 3 o'clock and sitting in that basement playing video games, throwing down double stuffed Oreo cookies until their parents come home. Okay? That is literally the worst choices that these young men can make. Instead of that, we want to encourage them to stay active, stay involved, stay pursuing whatever those dreams and hopes and aspirations that they have. And we will be here to work with them. We will be here to encourage them to pursue other sports or other activities that will do nothing but untap their potential. It's been such a fantastic experience to watch them come together as a group of young men. And I would count them at least once a week as they were walking out or walking back from practice. And I was always so impressed that there'd be like 50 or more of them every day I counted them. And this freshman football season will be one of the last times that they're on a sports team together, all together, until they're seniors in high school. Because when they go to winter sports, they'll get divided up amongst a number of different teams. When they become involved in spring sports, they'll get divided up amongst a number of teams. Just next year, some of them will probably be on the varsity football team, and a large number of them will be on the JV football team. And they won't be together as a group like they are right now until they're seniors and they're all on the varsity together. And I'm envisioning a group of 30 or more like we have this year in our senior class. And those 33, I think it is actually, young men have been together all through these 4 years of high school, and now they're together for like the last time in their senior football season. And it happens in a blink of an eye. I can remember when these seniors were in front of me at their freshman banquet, and they had long necks, and they were tall and skinny, and they have changed so much in these years in a number of different ways. These young men are going to be experiencing those same changes, and they're so lucky to have such a large group of parents and loved ones and extended family who are here to support them through this. And so I want to congratulate you parents. You've done a fantastic, magnificent job with them. And it's going to continue, and we're all going to reach those goals and aspirations that we have for all of these young men. And the cool thing is, we're going to do it together as Titans. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
All right, good job, Coach Thielen. We kind of summarized everything out. So I did a real nice job. I think that I'd like to focus on a number that I've been impressed with. I've been at Legend High School for 10 years. I've coached football a handful of times. And one of the things that we really focus on is our retention of our athletes. And Coach talking about 33 kids as seniors coming through his program and saying, I think that says a lot about Coach Thielen, to be frank with you. Because if you can look at kind of posters from back, every year you got that senior poster, and sometimes there's 9, sometimes there's 8, sometimes there's 12, sometimes there's 14, but this year was 33 kids. And I think that says a lot about Coach Thielen and his program. So let me just give a round of applause. We'll just kind of reiterate what Coach Thielen said. For us at Legend High School, we really want to cultivate that culture at Legend High School of athletics and of belonging to the school. And there's different programs out there. There's these different things, and I'm going to tell you this right now, and I'll be blunt because I don't really care. People will take your money all day long, right? It doesn't matter who you are. But the coaches at Legend High School, they're going to lace up their wrestling shoes with you. They're going to lace up their basketball shoes with you. They're going to go back to work the next day, and they're not going to make you tweet anything out. Okay, because we're about the culture of Legend High School. That's what we're about. So we want kids to participate in whatever sport that is. Whether that's basketball, wrestling, baseball, soccer, whatever that is, we want you to be a member of Legend High School Wrestling. Because we do it for the betterment of the good, for the culture of the school, not for any other reason. Okay, does that make sense? I just want to reiterate that from what Coach Thielen was saying. So what we're going to do here real quick is we're just going to call up groups of kids, and we're going to recognize these great individuals and the great seasons they have. Okay, so let's hear it from Coach Pearson.
As Ryder said, my name is Andrew Pierce, and as I call names of the offensive linemen, I need you guys to come on up. Corbett Hartman. Joey Lingo. Jesse Morton. No Jesse? Ethan Perez. Ivan Schmitz. Jack Strahan. DJ Solentrout. Hunter Trudgeon. Jack Day. Now, to be fair, most of these guys play both ways. They're offensive and they're defensive linemen, but I have to pick something for them. So something about the offensive line, if you haven't played it, you don't really know the extent of how much work it is with absolutely none of the credit. Everybody's always watching where the ball goes, but nothing happens unless I have at least 5 guys doing their job. They only get recognition typically when things don't go well, but they're always in it to do the right thing, even though they don't get recognition. That's why I love this position, and I love this group of men. They did a great job this season. All right, can I have Alex Wheeler? Casey Thompson. Ben Staub. Hunter Sarhoff. Jason Roach. Cameron Glover. Ryan Holloway. And Jace Marcias. Again, all of these guys here played on both sides of the line. They played offense as well as defense. And the story with the defensive lineman isn't a whole lot different than it is with the offensive lineman. To be a good defensive lineman, you cannot be selfish. Typically, in our defense, most of our calls is what we would call a one-gap defense. They have one job, and it's not to always hit the tackle or pursue the ball. It's to do their job because there's 11 men playing defense. And you have to be selfless to do your job right because we all win together. And they did a great job this season being selfless. Thanks, guys.
I'm Coach JT. I ran the offense. I'm good with wide receivers. Tyrus Wold. Galen Lillyhorn. Noah Litzow. Brody Shuck. Austin Hellman. Coleman Otto. Will Paley. It's Dustin Tucker. And so this is wide receiver core mostly, a few other, again, because we're on the defense side. Wide receivers, they're the pretty boys of football a little bit. Especially some of them, they like to be a little proud of what they wear. But be a little flat.
Champ's not up there.
Okay, this group works really hard though, after, they probably, wide receivers, they don't want to block, but they do have to. They stepped up, they did it, you guys did a good job. Very, very proud of you guys. What a lot of people say is, they're O-linemen that are athletic. Sorry, thanks, Coach. But, it was fun. I like the tight ends. It's where I play, so I really liked it. Get to do about everything, which is fun. Get to block, get to catch balls, score touchdowns. It was fun. Next, also played quarterback. So Brody Williams. And then Champs. Quarterbacks and our offense is heavy, is a zone RPO offense, and it can be very tricky. Even college quarterbacks, not a lot of colleges are starting to get into it, but it's a very hard thing to read. There's pre and post snap reads, multiple reads and all in them, and these guys did one heck of a job. All right, can't curse. These kids. These three really worked hard, always asking, the right questions, what's the read, what happens when he does this and what happens when he does that, They're very, very smart kids. They're going to do very well in varsity. I hope they continue with quarterback teams. They could be very good at it. They did a very good job.
So my son had his football award banquet last night. He got home and he was so excited, and got the All Heart Award. Because he's like 80 pounds, and he just doesn't care. He'll go punch you in the mouth, and that's what I love about him. But he got this All Heart Award. He goes, "Dad, look at this." And they spelled his name with 2 D's. My name's not spelled with 2 D's, it's spelled with 1. My point is that if your son's name is misspelled or if there was a mistake, please just be patient. We'll go ahead and fix that. That's why I try to say it at the beginning, but I forgot. So what I'd like to have happen is I'd like to have the following young men come up. Amari. Dave. And you're there. Cody Romback. Nicholas Kane. Dante Ice. We only call Dante Ice because he shops at Claire's Boutique with his ice. Some things we don't know. Zach Geyer. Cole Franson. Carson Flowers. Chase. Emerson. Cohen. So as you can tell, we got a lot of kids that play 2 ways. So this is our defensive back group. Okay, and something I'm super proud about was the way that they would always give me feedback as to what they needed. Later in the year, we inserted our cover 4, and that was a result of some of the conversations had with kids. My point is that their knowledge of football was extremely, I guess, beyond. From my perspective. Again, I'm not splitting the atom when it comes to football, just to be real with you. Okay, but these guys did an outstanding job telling me what they need, telling me what they thought was best, and then at the end of the day, also kind of owning up to when, hey, Ryder, maybe we should have stayed here or done that, and owning those mistakes. And that's one of those things we're trying to teach these young men is how to be accountable and how to really own some of the mistakes that we make. Okay. So at the end of the day, I'm super proud of this group. You guys give them a round of applause. Okay. Here we go. Aaron Olsen. John. Schoolcraft. Zach Margaret. Jovan Sierra. Whitaker. Brayden Whitaker. Wyatt. Kimberly. Answer. Dylan Gross. Hey, so for you guys haven't figured this one out, this is our defensive linebacker group. Okay, not that there's a lot of linebackers, but this is our linebacking core. Okay, for me, I think that one of the characteristics that we are trying to instill in athletes, and that's nice, at least I try to do it up in the wrestling room, and hopefully with these linebackers. And mom, please don't take this the wrong way, but I really talk about having like that street fight mentality. And being able to go out, like, at the end of the day, I'm looking for kids I can go to a parking lot with. That's really what I'm looking for, to be honest. And we'll teach you how to play football later. And these kids did a great job of exhibiting those characteristics. And super impressed by their tenacity and their athleticism and their ability to, when faced with adversity, to not back down. And I just had such a tremendous time, or excuse me, at a great time, I should say, coaching these individuals in our individual sessions during defensive days, and then on the field. Great group of kids, mom, dad, you guys should be proud to see them around. Okay. All right. Okay, a couple more. Okay. Can I please have Mr. Carson Flowers come up here? Okay, so Carson was our special teams MVP player this year. Carson had a great summer. He had a great summer for us, and kind of the defensive coordinator, Coach Rochwell, was really kind of impressed with him as far as his athleticism, his ability to run, and do all those things. And then, unfortunately for Carson, he would do a basketball camp or a game or something of that nature, and broke something. And he was walking around with two different shoes on. One of them was in a boot, and so Carson he just was gone for a while. And then the season started up, and we had to find a kicker. And I knew, because I hung out, I knew the family, and my son played baseball with his little brother. I knew that Carson was a soccer player. And so when we had our kicker tryouts, I was really excited that Carson was going to come back at some point in time, because it wasn't looking good from that perspective. So Carson came back, and he not only was he an outstanding kicker, but he really did a nice job of leading on that special team and knowing where everybody had to be. And we would go through our daily practice. We would run our special teams on the daily, and Carson was always ready to go. And I think that a lot of times, like in a football game, you think about offense and you think about defense. And I think that special teams really gets lost in that mix a lot of the times, because they're not on the field that often, or as for much amount of time as the offense and the defense. But there's just a substantial part to the game, and I thought that Carson did an outstanding job of, for lack of a better term, commanding his troops like a quarterback would on offense. So I want to hear from Carson. All right. Obviously, we had a good year this year on the defensive side of the ball, but I'd like to bring up Mr. Aaron Olson. Aaron Olson was our defensive MVP. He was our Mike linebacker. Again, kind of in that leadership position on the field, having to dictate what side of the field we're on, field left, field right, and making sure that everybody knew where they were supposed to be. And he did it with confidence, and it was such a, a lot of times leadership can be seen as yelling and screaming and those things. And Aaron did it in such a quiet and, I guess, articulate way that was like super impressive. Because he would tell kids where to be and where they had to go. And he would come to me at the sideline and he'd say, hey, Ryder, this is what I'm seeing here. And I said, hey, go talk to this kid. He'd go ahead and have a conversation with the kid and make sure they're supposed to be where they're going. And Aaron did such a tremendous job of leading by example. And I used to have this coach I used to work with in the wrestling room, his name was Larry Jeffrey, and he would say, set the example, don't be the example. And I always got confused with it. But what it means is, if you set the example that people want to live by, then you're doing things right. If you're the example that your coaches show, or your teachers show, or your parents show what not to do, then you're being the example. Aaron always set the example. And that's something we're super proud about. And just to be frank, dude, the kid likes to fight, and I love kids who like to fight.
So I'm the offensive MVP, and this probably been gone to a blue kid, but Brody Shush. Brody, very athletic kid, very naturally talented, but he fights. Just like him, he's like he'll get in a street fight any day. And he's also a very smart kid. He sees things on the football field. Help me call plays. He's a very smart kid. He works extremely hard. One of the hardest workers I've probably ever seen here through Legend. I know he's great, especially for writer at wrestling. Whatever the heck he does, he'll be great at. But this kid, he's just a player, man. He just play both sides, offense, defense. You need to apply it.
I have the Lineman MVP Award. So I need Jack King to come on up here. So, I love watching Jack play, but I love listening to Jack play even more. Because it doesn't matter if he's actually in practice, in a game, or if he's just going through his steps. The amount of effort Jack gives on absolutely everything is audible. There's this, even when he's going through his steps, even when we're just getting loose, it is 100%. Jack started on both sides of the ball, by the way, as a guard and as our nose guard. And it was 100% all season. Jack is the kid that if you want to see how good you are, you want to line up against Jack because he's the measure that we measure the lineman by this year. Incredibly tough. It's because he always did the right thing. He always gave 100%. And that always giving 100% is probably the hardest thing to do. I really appreciate that, Jack.
We got one more. So this award is the Titan Award, and it's just kind of an award that really each program gives out. I mean, they can. I do in wrestling, but this award kind of exhibits like what we want our athletes to be, and that doesn't necessarily always talk about what's on the field, but also what's off the field too, and that leadership quality and we had some issues in the lunchroom, close to the season, and we talked about how that it's important that we need to make sure that we are always, there's two kinds of people, there's givers and there's takers, and that we need to be givers all the time. And that, it's not someone else's responsibility to clean up after you. And I kept on getting, texts from my coworkers, talking to me about freshman football and how that they were staying after and they were cleaning up the lunchroom. I thought that was great. That was great. But are we doing it because it's the right thing to do, or are you doing it because you don't want to go touch the green box? And so then we kind of had that conversation in football practice, talking about look, it's great you're doing it. That's awesome that you're doing it. But we want to do it because it's the right thing to do. It's not because we're scared of the punishment or because we want to make Coach happy. It's because it's what good people do. Because at the end of the day, before we're students, before we're athletes, we're good people. That's just the bottom line. And this individual would often be down in the cafeteria taking care of other people's messes. Not that he had to, because he thought that was a good thing to do. And I can remember one time that we were up, I think we were at a 40-yard rule at some point in time, and this individual was down coaching up some of the other kids after we had pulled him from the game. And the defensive coordinator came up to me, Coach Russell, and said, "Who is this young man?" You know, this is true leadership. A lot of people believe that leadership is like, I'm a really good football player, I'm a good basketball player, anyone can do that. That's easy. Leadership is doing the things that you don't want to do and doing the humble things. And, you know, this individual in a time where maybe some of the starters were kind of, which rightfully so, celebrating, do those things on the opposite end of the field, this individual was down where the action was going on. Watching those kids who had not gotten the repetitions of the game and cheering them on and coaching them up. And that's what leadership is. And I couldn't be more excited to have Coach Isaac Smith. To meet Isaac, to talk to Isaac, just, you know, we talk about being humble and having humility, and he is the definition of that. And the kid, well, and the good thing too is the kid can play football too. So I do know for a fact that he can do that, but I also know that when we're trying to get kids ready for that varsity level, it's so much more about that culture piece. We teach kids how to play football, we teach kids how to play basketball, but it's that culture piece that we're missing. Or that we're striving to get, I should say. And this kid right here is not only bringing the athleticism, but also a part of the culture and contributing in a selfless manner, which is something we truly love. So let's hear it. I know that Miss RJ has something to say here real quick. Just real quick, I just want to tell you guys thanks a lot for a great season. I know it's been a long 5-6 months. Since January, not January, what's that one? June. You know, and I think that it was good. We had a good time. And, you know, it's something to think about for you young kids, and just kind of piggyback on what Coach Thielen says, that it's like your high school football career is now 25% over. Like, just think about that. That's like a weird thing. Like, it's 1/4 over. Right? 25% of your high school career is gone as far as football goes. That's just a weird concept, right? Another thing I think you need to value is that there are only certain times in your life that you can do certain things. And so every time I talk to a kid, hey, you got to come out to wrestle, or you got to go do this. He's like, well, I got to get a job. Okay, so what I tell him right now is, do you know where I'm at right now? I'm at work right now. Like, you can always go to work. Why do you need a job? He said, because I got to get a car. I drove here. There are certain things in your life that you only have certain times to do. And so we all want to do those things and get jobs and go have a car and do those things, but those will always be there. Stuff during these next 3 or 4 years are only going to be at a certain time. So I would encourage you to go play basketball and to go drop the theater and to make sure you come back for football next year and do those things, because once they're gone, you can't get them back. So that's all I got. You guys did a great year. I think Ms. RJ wanted to say something. That's it. Thank you.
So I don't know about you, but I couldn't imagine being a coach. What the time and the dedication that you give to our boys is really just probably one of the most thankless jobs. So on behalf of the team and the parents, what do you guys all say? Thank you. And you guys please eat.
Okay.
There is food for you. We have food. Also, I could not have done this season the way we did this season without moms. I have been doing this stuff for 26 years, seriously, my oldest is 32. And in all this time, I have never had this many parents step up. I am absolutely blown away. You guys took care of snacks. coming over to my house, doing locker tags, decorator assemblies at 7 a.m., meetings at nighttime, just all this crazy stuff. So many of you here early today. I can't thank you enough. So boys, those flowers that I had you pick up earlier, those are from me to you moms. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know some of the flowers got a little messed up or separated from the card. If you don't have a card, come see me. It's probably back here. We have extra flowers on the table, so you can take one of those. I know as moms, we always like to have little keepsakes from the year. So that's really what this was, a little keepsake for you to have for the year, and my way to just say thank you for really stepping up and helping this year. Also, thank you to our drink sponsor. I hope you noticed we did all the centerpieces and the weights for the balloons, the drinks. Right? All right. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We do have more food, so please help yourself to that. They are ready and waiting. We've got waters. We have some leftover snacks from the season, so you're welcome to take those. Also, there's rosters from the season that are back there. If you need another roster from just for your scrapbook or whatever. And the very first locker tag for the season, your son's locker tag might be back there. I say might because when we came in to do locker tags for the second game, the players decided to take down all the locker tags they could find and put them on Maddie's locker. So I collected what I could and we saved them over here. And last but not least, Lori did not make it in. She has some plane troubles coming in, but I really wanted to thank her for doing the cards that you see, and she did a lot of extra cricket work for me. And Katie, I think Katie is here. Maddie's mom, wherever you are, you saved my butt so many times this season. I cannot thank you enough, so I could not have done this without your help. So thank you guys very, very much.
Tomorrow, you need to go, unless you're still working out with varsity, I think you're good to go. We're going to meet in the locker room before we get to school. You're going to take your stuff out of your football locker, and you're going to go and put it into a PE locker. That's all you got to do. It doesn't matter what locker you choose, but that will be done tomorrow after school. I will see you in the locker room tomorrow, 3:15. Is that clear? If you're still working out the varsity, I think you guys are good to go to the locker room. But we got to clear them out first. Okay, you guys good to go? Have a nice.
What's up, Isaac? I love you so much. Very well deserved. Congratulations. Coach, thank you. Yeah.